public insurance trying to compete with the privates could be the biggest, most contentious debate of the summer.
I think so, and I think one of the interesting things, we've seen a lot of candidate Obama changing when he became President Obama, whether it comes to state secrets or the war in Iraq or whatever. And I think healthcare is going to be one of the big differences between a post-inaugural Obama and President Obama, because even after he was president, they were talking about they wanted this to be bipartisan. They wanted healthcare to be written by Democrats and Republicans. That it was a big bill, it needed a big mandate in Congress, and I don't know that that's possible.
Go ahead. This is a little bit different. Most of the places Obama has shifted, he shifted to the right from his campaign promises.
No, this is a shift to the left.
To the left. This is going for true universality. He has basically said, Hillary Clinton was right, basically.
Well, he's also saying, and this goes to what Ruth was talking about before, if they decide to go with this budget mechanism that lets you get through on 51 votes as opposed to 60, he's basically saying, no one's going to care how I got there if I make good on what we're talking about.
It's healthcare. This is an enormous political strategic thing. If the Democrats get universal health care in any way, shape, or form, that is going to change the political landscape for a generation.
And it's a little, if I can just say one very quick thing, it's a little odd to describe his views on healthcare as a shift to the left. It is a shift to the Hillary Clinton, there should be an individual mandate model, but that is something that the insurance industry is demanding as the price of extending coverage on the same scale to everybody.
And they don't want the mandate on employers.
I'll come to follow political chickens until they're hatched. In 1965, Medicare gets passed. In 1968, the next presidential election, the Democrats begin a series of losing 7 of the next half.
First of all, the places like Medi-Cal, the Medicaid program in California, pays 39% of costs. But the American system is operated because private sector insurers have cost shifted. You go to every hospital administrator in this country and say, you really want a government insurance program which gradually decays because it will steadily be underfunded. And if 75%, as one prediction indicated, 75% of the private insurance goes into this government corporation, now where does your cost shifting come from? And I think you're going to find every hospital in this country will oppose this program if it is a government-run insurance program.
We've got a few minutes left. Before we go, I want to point up some real changes on the issue of gay marriage in the last couple of weeks. The Vermont legislature passes a gay marriage initiative. The state Supreme Court in Iowa also legalizes gay marriage in that state, and it's created a bit of a backlash from a group called the National Organization for Marriage.
There's a storm gathering.
The clouds are dark, and the winds are strong.
And I am afraid.
Some who advocate for same-sex marriage have taken the issue far beyond same-sex couples. They want to bring the issue into my life.
My freedom will be taken away.
And George, this issue now could be actually hitting on a national level because the City Council of the District of Columbia is moving on a plan to recognize marriages performed in other states. That could bring in the Congress on a test vote of gay marriage nationally.
I'm not sure Congress will do this because Congress is happy to have issues like this driven by the judiciary. And that is what embitters this fight, is the sense that people feel that they didn't get a fair chance to persuade. My view is...
What complicates it is in Vermont, it was done by the legislature, not the judiciary.
Correct. But that's Vermont. And again, when you begin to get one-size-fits-all solutions, this is where federalism does earn its keep. It gives people a sense that their little community has had its say.
Well, I guess I would respond by saying perhaps the Constitution envisions certain one-size-fits-all solutions. This was a pretty remarkable week on the gay marriage front. First of all, to have a state like Iowa, not the left coast kind of state like Massachusetts, or the East Coast state like Massachusetts, or left coast state like California, to have a unanimous Iowa Supreme Court in a decision written by a Republican appointee find that the state constitutional guarantee of equal protection made its ban on same-sex marriage unconstitutional is pretty remarkable, as is having even Vermont, the legislature, not just adopt this, but override a gubernatorial veto.
I just want to bid on what George said. There's nothing more embittering than watching 7 lawyers rewrite the state's constitution on an issue where in 23 states there is not a single case of the state not ultimately deciding in favor of traditional marriage if it's a popular vote. You may have the same thing happen in California, where the court may, for the second time, overturn a constitutional...
We only have 15 seconds left. In Iowa, it's going to be very, very
I'm the chief agent of social change.
We're out of time here. You guys continue this all in the green room. You can check it out later on abcnews.com. And for political updates all week long, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Coming up here, the Sunday Funnies.
You come to America. No one knows who you are or why you're here. But you know this is where anyone from anywhere can become anything they want. So you work hard, and eventually you earn something more valuable than just money. You earn respect. 22 years ago, nobody had heard of Hyundai in this country. Today, we employ more than 35,000 Americans, and over half the cars we sell here are built in Montgomery, Alabama. Working together, you've helped us become the 5th largest automaker in the world. That's why in these trying times, we're introducing Hyundai Assurance, a program that lets you finance or lease a new Hyundai with peace of mind. It's time to repay your belief in us by putting our trust in you. Because we are Hyundai, but our success story is uniquely American.
I had a picture in my mind of next year, and it certainly didn't include getting up at 6 a.m. and going to work every day.
We've been through times like this before, but not just before I was about to retire.
These are tough times for people. There's no getting around it. This story affects everybody in so many different ways. I think the important thing for people to understand is that you're asking the same questions they are. What's truly important to people is how does it affect me?
ABC's World News with Charles Gibson, cutting through the noise, getting to what really matters.
There is no greater satisfaction than knowing that what we've reported has mattered to you.
Police, police! Drop everything. We have ourselves a crime spree Wednesday.
Everybody face the wall!
You're 16. You're doing robbing a bank.
Almost killed me!
So what? Huh? Everybody dies, Leo. The Unusuals. ABC's newest crime thriller has the most unusual cases on television. We're partners now, and we need to trust each other. ABC's The Unusuals. All new Wednesday at 10, 9 Central after a new law study.